One thing is that we know that we have, for every project, okay, we have planning. A planning, okay? By the way, if you want to see my lesson about design process, planning, and why the planning is your best friend when you make a design project, there is a video that I made during Design Talk last year, and you can go and check it out, okay? So this is our timeline, okay? Time. This is time. Okay. This is production market day. It means here that our project here will go into production. We will have this car in our beautiful showrooms of any brand, ready to be sold. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. This is 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, okay? Then we have 6 months during which we make research. Okay? Wait. We make also client testing. Okay? We do market benchmark. Okay? So we do all series of activities, all right, that are used to understand what the hell we are gonna do and why, for who. So that's very important. Before I start making a beautiful sketch, I have to know why I'm doing it. I have to know what type of ingredients, what type of important USP I have to put in it. By the way, USP means unit selling points. Okay? Those are very important. And those are important for marketing, design, engineering, everybody. All the people that are in that project team will have the same or similar USP. So the USP are fundamental, and we decide the USP after that we do all this. So what we're talking today, it's here. All right? In this area. All right. So now that we understand where we are during this design process, okay. So now we can talk about those research. First of all, one thing I have to tell you is that when we make research, it's not that design makes the research. Of course, designers will start looking about the type of projects, all the pictures that we can find online, on the social networks, because we want to make mood boards, right? By the way, if you're looking for mood boards explanation, there is a beautiful video that is a lot clicked on my channel, which is mood boards, okay, in car design. Go and check it out if you are interested. So, we make the mood boards. Then we have color and trim designers that are part of this design team that will do the same thing for color and trim, which means materials, colors, trendy colors, what is going to be, or we imagine to be, the trends in the next 10 years, 15 years, according to the timeline of the project, okay? According to the date of production. If it's 2026, it's not that far. But if it is a project for 2030, then it starts to become kind of far. So we have really to project ourselves a little bit farther. Then we have the most important team that in this period will really give us lots of help, and that's their job, is marketing. Right. And with marketing, we have another team within this big project team, in which we have also, of course, the design team. Another team that is called product planning. Now, before we move on, let's talk a little bit, very quickly, the role of each team here. Who is doing marketing and who is doing product planning during this part of the design project. That, as I said before, it's really early stage. It's called early briefing research. Okay? This early briefing research is generating, and this is very important for you, the project briefing. And the project briefing, once it's done, is presented to every team that will work together to make this project, to really make it. It means sketch, design, engineering, suppliers, modeling, everything that we have to do in order to go to production. Here, during the beginning of the first year of project management and realization year, okay? So this is clear, right? So we understand where we are, what we are studying, and what we have to produce with those studies. Okay, let's go back here. Marketing, in this period of the project, of this planning, they're doing something that in a way might seem simple, easy, but it is complicated. They do mainly testing, okay? We have to test the market. If we know that we're gonna work on a city car, okay? And the city car, you can do many ways, a city car. You can do a city car that is very tall. You can do a city car that you use because you want to stuff a lot of things inside, because maybe you have a double use, professional and private. Maybe you have a city car that is only private use, like a family. So it's a 4-place or 5-place, like a small Fiat, a small Renault, I don't know, small Japanese Toyota, stuff like that. So every city car has a mission, a target, and the target is the market. Now, today, in a global world where everything is so big, where I can make a car here and I can sell it on the other side of the world, okay, what happens? That we must not make any mistakes, because if we make a mistake, that means a lot of money are thrown out of the window right away. So our objective is that we gain as much as possible a great success on this project. A lot of people are gonna buy it, okay? But if people will buy it, it means that during those studies, okay, the studies here, all right, It means that we did the job correctly. We studied the right market. We studied the right use. What's usage? How those clients will use that car? What's their needs? What is their age? If it's a family and they are young couple, how many kids do they have? Which are the needs of those kids in such a small car for commuting? Do they use this car to do 50 kilometers for a long trip or even 1,000 kilometers? The things change the way you make the interior of that car or the mechanic you use, that you have to choose, to use. Can be more expensive, less expensive. And then talking about cost, that target client, how much money is willing to spend for a car that is, 3.5 meters and 1.70 meters high? So all those things are done by marketing, searching, testing, and making all those client tests that give us results, and then we receive a sort of document in which we have a real client type profile. This is very important, because when I have this, you know what it means? That engineer, they understand right away dimension, type of mechanics, but most of all they understand the cost, the overall cost of the whole car. When we go and sell the car, we know that that car has to cost, $1,000. Cannot cost $2,000, because if it costs $2,000, it's out of market. Even if everything inside is perfect for our target client, but if the cost is too much, that client will say, nice try, but I go by next door at Toyota, or I go by next door at Chevrolet, and we don't sell the cars. So what is important is to make all those results, okay, all those topics that come out, those USP, unique selling points, okay, put them all together in a way that everything looks really cohesive, believable, credible, something that when we tell the client type, I made a car that is like this, like that, this is the cost. He looks the car, he says, I like the car, it has everything I need, besides the cost, it's exactly what I wanted to spend, no more than that, he's gonna buy it. So this part, as you starting to understand, it's much more important than tell a designer, come on, let's make a few sketches about a city car. Because if he's gonna do, or she's gonna do nice sketches that might be really completely off subject, because that designer doesn't know all those information, doesn't have those information yet. So in this part, marketing makes a sort of with the suppliers, special companies that do testing and stuff. One time I participated to one of those testing. It's really, really interesting. You are behind the glass, you don't see, they don't see you. And those people that, hi Rubel, ciao. And those people that are interviewed with images, with questions, and they react, okay, they don't imagine that you are behind that glass watching them react to those questions. Try to understand if what you think is right or wrong. Then you have product planning. Product planning works on the client test with marketing, of course, because product planning in reality is the entity is the team that will write down, really write down the project briefing. And this is important because when product planning will write the project briefing, that becomes the official document that will tell to every team that's exactly what we have to do. Okay, whether it's a city car or ciao Anish, I'm fine, thanks, welcome back. Whether it's a small car, a medium car, a big car, an LCV, whatever. This is becomes the Bible. So, coming back to our timeline, when we produced the project briefing, then we inform all the teams, okay, and also design, okay, design, they can start and they start working. So this part is ideation, selection, okay, all that stuff. And then here is design, development. And then the last year is pre-industrialization. This means that here we do what here has been decided from all the big boards, the main directors, the big VP design. After that, the design team, product planning, engineering, all together went from ideation to selection and then design development. Once this is frozen, means nobody can change, nobody. Then the engineers and suppliers, they will take that and they will realize the car, okay? So, now, the question that I would like to ask you, what is a tool? Because to do this stuff, we need some tools, okay? Those are management tools. Management tools. So, management tools are important because in order to arrive, to get some knowledge, okay, about the market, all the things I said before, PS, sometimes people's point of view is far from designers. It's true, we will talk about that, PS. You're right to say that. I will explain. As automotive design, shall we ask just from people and you? That's what I'm explaining, Alan. So the management tools are tools that we use, sort of like a checklist, using our brain, okay, reasoning, thinking, and we produce documents that will prove, once they are approved, that we are on the right track. So one of those documents is the mapping. Have you ever heard about that? The mapping chart. Mapping chart. So the mapping chart is very important because it's the tool that we use a lot in design, also product planning, okay? Wait a moment. Marketing, product planning, and design, all three use the mapping chart, okay? And we do this together. Believe me, we really do this. This is a management responsibility. So on my projects, I work on this stuff. And here an example for you. Okay. So, in general, when we want to understand where are we with this project, where can we push the project according, to what we would like to do as designers, as a product planning, marketing company, but also according to what the studies, the research, the client test told us, that's what happens. So we make a planning which is a cross, basically, with two extremities, okay? And in general, we put the opposites, okay? So if here we put black, here we put white. If here we put spicy, here we put, I don't know, not spicy, okay? Just to give you an idea of the opposites, okay? The opposites. So, in general, what we do, we have to decide whether we want to do something that is a little bit traditional, very solid, something on which we can count on, for which we have all the technical solutions. The design has to be a wise design, not too futuristic, because the market will not understand. They will say, yeah, nice, but the car is a little too strange, I don't buy it, I don't want to go, because the time, the era, the epoch, it's not mature enough. Therefore, according to the client with who we have to do this business, for who we do that, we have to understand whether we have to push for a design and a car that is a little bit more vintage, more traditional approach, okay? Maybe functional, here, all right? Or if we can do something that is more futuristic, more advanced, a little more punchy. Maybe we can even have a completely different design approach, because we know that market, that client will be very happy, he's waiting for that. And nobody's doing that yet. Therefore, we have the opportunity to do it. So we have to juggle between functional, emotional. Now, you know that for designers, everything is around here, because we want to be very emotional with our sketches, with our models, that people, when look at the car, they fall in love. I mean, they look at it and say, give me the money, I want that car. That's emotion. But then we need also functional. The things must work. When I am driving that beautiful car, I don't want to have back pains. So the ergonomy is very good. And when I am driving and I need to push a button because I need a function to be activated, I don't have to drive looking for that button while I'm driving. So the position, everything has been done in a very wise way to assure passive, active safety. When I have to get in and out of my car, it's not that I have to break my back, because to go out is complicated. And the same thing, if I have to go in the back of my trunk and charge, one luggage or something, it doesn't have to become a pain in the ass in doing it. So, function, emotion. But in some cases, we need to push that design a little bit more advanced towards something that is futuristic, like my little sketch there. So, when we decided to do things like that, we are motivated by those marketing, product planning studies. And that's a strategy. So the whole thing, I'm trying to explain to you is that we are talking about marketing, design, strategy. And strategy is very important. So the real objective of today's course, on our Design Talk Live is that I want you to think that to be a designer, to be, did you mean ingress and egress? Oh, yes, Alan, exactly, yes. Go in and out of the car, yes. So when we start a project, even in school, because sometimes because you think you are a student, you say, well, that's okay, no big deal. No, I don't think so, because when you have I don't know, let's suppose, okay, that General Motors comes to your school and they sponsorize a project and they tell you simply, make the future, I don't know, town car, family, 5 people, must be very elegant, very expensive. And that's it. In general, they don't give a lot of things. I want you to start thinking about this stuff, because you have to start thinking. Of course, you cannot make a marketing research because you are a student. I know that. But you can do something similar. You can ask your friends, you can ask people, you can go, I don't know, to General Motors salon, show, how do you say it? Dealer, that's the word, dealer, and ask the managers there and say, how many cars of this model do you sell? Why people buy it? What are the good things about that car and the bad things? You can do a sort of a little research on your own, so that you come with facts, and that shows to the client, in this case the sponsor of your project would be General Motors, shows that you are thinking marketing design strategy, that you are a sort of a small manager, that you are taking that project very seriously, and therefore you following the right steps before you launch yourself in making your ideation, selection of your best idea and make a nice model. It's important this, because with this one you can measure how to manage your talent, how your creativity has to be pushed to which limit, to make sure that you can say you can have a product at the end that looks, as I said at the beginning, very cohesive, very centered, on the client type. So in general, that's what we do. We do all the sketches that our designers make when we launch the ideation, brainstorming and stuff. Then what do? We start putting, in some cases, not every time, but in some cases, we choose to make a selection, and then we start seeing where they stand, And then also, based on that type of mapping, the design management, which means mainly design director, okay, and the VP design, they think and say, well, to be credible, I think we have 4 fantastic ideas, but those 2 are probably the best for this project. So we pick up those 2, the other 2 too bad, we keep them maybe for a future project, and we give that orientation for the project. We will present this to the CEO, the other big important directors. We make a presentation and let's see how they react. And then there is also another things that are very important, is that marketing and product planning will look at those 2 proposals. They will react. And they have to react because they made the studies. They were in contact with the client type. They made the documents as a synthesis of all those client tests and research. So it will become very important to hear what they have to say about it. And that's how, between the 2, on which one at the end we will say, what, we get this one, this is too pushed, it's too much. But on this one, it looks like a good, negotiation win-win, because all the criteria and USPs that we are looking for, they are in that proposal. Besides the styling, the design, everybody likes it. So why not? And that's how we try to arrive, okay, to take a decision on a choice. That's how we make a choice. In some cases it can be different, but I would say that if I have to tell you which is the standard design process and project process, company process, to start something from writing documents to get to a final model, that's the whole thing, you know. So I hope that you understood. Whatever. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you. Put your likes if you didn't do it yet. Subscribe to this channel if you are new. You know, I enjoy a lot to be here with you. I know that some of you looks like are having a benefit from what I have to say and from my tutorials. Don't worry, this channel will stay here and will grow better. So, thanks to you. Thank you very much. Now, I know also the new camera angle that I have to use for my next ones. That's great. Thanks. And I am ready, okay, to tell you grazie, grazie, grazie.